Nishikata's attempt to prank Takagi with an improvised jack-in-a-box fails. Later, Takagi borrows his eraser and shares a popular childish tale about mutual love when writing a crush's name on it. Nishikata takes her eraser, while she's away, only to find a message directing him to look at the hallway, where Takagi is giggling. Surprisingly, Nishikata's name is secretly written on the other side. At school, Nishikata spots Takagi outside the window, but she appears next to him from behind the curtain, embarrassing him again. While trying to make a funny face for Takagi, she gives him tips for improvement, but he accidentally turns to face Mr. Tanabe, who scolds him. On their way home, Mina, Sani, and Yukari stop when Mina steps on what she thinks is a 100 yen coin. After investigating, Yukari and Sani inform her that it's actually a token. During calligraphy lessons, Takagi suggests writing a word representing what they want from each other. Nishikata's second attempt goes awry as Takagi surprisingly shows kindness, having tricked him by secretly rubbing ink on his face as shown in her own calligraphy. Mina and Yukari complain about the heat and notice Sani wearing a short-sleeved uniform. Later, both Mina and Yukari switch to shorter sleeves, but Sani remains in her longer uniform. In English class, Nishikata plans to distract Takagi, so she can't answer when it's her turn to read aloud. However, despite surprising her, Takagi quickly finds the assigned line and responds correctly. Nishikata, unable to participate in the pool with the class due to a hand injury, sits on the bench. Takagi playfully tests him to figure out why she's not swimming. Panicking, he guesses that she might be experiencing menstruation, but in reality, she's perfectly fine and only pretended to have a condition to be with him. Mina attempts to drink a can of coffee, but finds it too strong for her taste. Sani offers her juice, which Mina graciously accepts until Sani playfully points out it's a childish choice. On the way to school, Takagi proposes a contest to see who can successfully throw their respective cans into the trash, with the loser having to obey the winner's command. Takagi manages to make her toss and then distracts Nishikata during his turn, causing him to miss. Mina drinks a bottle of soda, but the fizz proves uncomfortable for her. Yukari drinks it without any issue until she feels the need to burp. She lets out a burp just as Mina starts talking loudly, which Sani notices. Inspired by Takagi's teasing, Nishikata decides to create an exercise routine. When Takagi comments on his improved appearance, Nishikata becomes even more motivated to continue his training. Mina, Sani, and Yukari spot two cats outside and playfully pretend that the cats are a couple having a conversation. As the school day ends and it starts raining, Takagi suggests that she and Nishikata walk home together. Under the umbrella, Takagi teases Nishikata about the situation, much to his annoyance. Nishikata receives an order to clean the science room and finds Takagi hiding in a closet. She convinces him to play 4 rounds of rock, paper, scissors, with the loser having to clean a quarter of the room. Nishikata ends up losing all 4 rounds. When they come across a jungle gym, Nishikata assumes Takagi will hesitate to kick over the high bar. Surprisingly, she asks him to look away during her first attempt. On her second try, Nishikata suspects she's cheating, but when he looks, he realizes she's wearing shorts under her skirt. Despite breaking the no-look rule, he concedes defeat. After staying up all night watching anime with the air conditioner on, Nishikata arrives late to class, feeling sick. Takagi is concerned for his health and refrains from teasing him throughout the day. Even when he tries to provoke her, she doesn't fall for it. Eventually, he admits he was not actually sick, just overslept. While at the candy store, Mina, Sani, and Yukari spot Takagi and Nishikata together and assume they are dating. The 3 decide to follow them, but Takagi notices their presence and hides herself and Nishikata in a bush until they leave. While Nishikata is busy studying for exams, Takagi joins him and offers her help. Later, as they walk home in the evening, Takagi surprises him by revealing that the study problems they worked on won't be on the test. Yukari is determined to score at least 90% on her exams so she can get the video game she wants. However, when she starts studying, she's shocked to find out that the next subject is math. After receiving their test results, Nishikata and Takagi try to guess each other's scores. Nishikata overthinks his answer, but Takagi reveals that his initial guess was actually correct. While at the bookstore, Nishikata purchases the latest volume of 100% Unrequited Love. As he leaves, he unexpectedly encounters Takagi. Trying to hide his purchase, Nishikata lies, but Takagi confesses that she saw him buying it. During a rainstorm, Nishikata and Takagi take shelter at a shrine. Takagi gets soaked and decides to change out of her uniform. She asks Nishikata if she can borrow his PE shirt. They make a bet on whether the rain will stop, and Takagi ends up allowing him to wear her PE shirt. Takagi suggests to Nishikata that they ride a bike together after seeing their classmates Mono and Nikai doing so. Though he is hesitant, Nishikata reluctantly agrees. During their practice, Takagi playfully agitates him, leading to his failure. As a result, he buys her a can of juice, but lacks enough money for himself. Takagi kindly purchases one for him. At Yukari's house, she works on her summer homework, while Mina and Sani playfully tease her for not fully enjoying the break. Since they can't practice tandem riding, Takagi challenges Nishikata to a test of courage. While inside a tunnel, Takagi starts pranking him. Back home, Nishikata continues with his workouts. While walking and eating popsicles, Mina and Sani inform a slightly annoyed Yukari that she will be helping them with their assignments due to her being the class president. Nishikata spots Takagi and playfully follows her until she hides in a bush and startles him. When a cicada surprises Takagi, causing her to stumble, Nishikata scrapes his knee while trying to catch her. They head to a faucet to clean the wound, and Takagi offers him her handkerchief to wrap it. At the mall's bookstore, Nishikata buys the latest volume of 100% Unrequited Love, but runs into Takagi outside. She challenges him with a bet, claiming she knows what he purchased. In an attempt to trick her, Nishikata imitates the character's actions, but despite his efforts, Takagi still guesses correctly. Having lost the bet, Nishikata is now obligated to assist Takagi in choosing a swimsuit, a task that proves highly embarrassing for him. Spotting Mono and Nikai in the store, he hides in the dressing room until they leave and greet Takagi. At the beach, Mina and Sani get ready to swim when they notice Yukari inflating a life preserver, because she can't swim. Opting to leave her be, the two enjoy their day until they return to find Yukari exhausted, having had to manually inflate the life preserver after the pump broke. While discussing their summer homework, Takagi agrees to let Nishikata copy her answers and suggests working together at his house. Inside, she compliments his room, prompting him to ask if they should start studying. Since he only has one desk, they end up studying together on his bed, during which she reveals the assignments to be kana writing drills, much to his dismay. During the typhoon, Nishikata embraces the powerful winds and pretends to be a character with wind-controlling abilities. Takagi overhears him and mimics his actions, but he strongly denies it ever happened. Noticing that Takagi doesn't have her bike with her, Nishikata is questioned about the reason, but fails to provide an answer in time. During the school marathon, Nishikata and Takagi turn it into a competition to see who is faster. They eventually agree that Nishikata must try to keep up with Takagi at a certain distance, leading to his defeat as the girls only need to run half the distance. On their way home, Takagi playfully tickles Nishikata's ribs, annoying him. He considers retaliating, but she claims her ribs are unticklish. Nishikata comes up with various distraction strategies, but none of them work. Finally, Takagi allows him to poke her ribs to prove her point. Mina, Sani, and Yukari visit a tunnel, and Mina and Sani excitedly run around and explore the surroundings. After their exploration, they all leave the tunnel and Mina expresses her satisfaction with the outing. After getting a new cell phone, Nishikata exchanges emails with his friends. Curious, Takagi asks to see it, and Nishikata plans to take advantage of the situation, but she returns it before he can. Meanwhile, Mina and Yukari contemplate getting their own cell phones and inquire if Sani wants one, but she declines until she admits she already has one. While on cleanup duty, Nishikata and Takagi discuss their cell phone activities, and Nishikata decides to send her a scary video. Takagi watches it later but remains unfazed, explaining that horror doesn't have the same impact in the morning. At home, Nishikata ponders his next move until Takagi calls him and they chat for the evening. Nishikata wants to take a photo of Takagi, making a funny face to compete with his friends. She agrees but catches him off guard when taking the picture. When he tries to persuade her for another attempt, she startles him and captures his reaction. Anxious about it being used against him, he unsuccessfully tries to get her to delete it. Irritated by her laughter, Nishikata attempts to retaliate by taking her photo, but she quickly shifts to a normal expression, foiling his plan. On their way to school together, Takagi notices that Nishikata has grown taller, sparking a height comparing contest. Nishikata becomes doubtful of Takagi's measurement, so she faces him directly and confesses that she had been standing on her toes while they had their backs turned. With winter approaching, Mina and Sani decide to place their cold hands on Yukari's skin to see her reaction. However, when Yukari attempts to do the same, she gets no response as her hands are warm. Takagi playfully does the same to Nishikata, catching the attention of the trio, who start assuming that they might be dating. Apart from Yukari, Nishikata's friends suspect that he might be dating Takagi when he turns down their invitation to play video games. Mina directly asks Takagi, who reveals that they are not dating, and Nishikata affirms it too. As Takagi is usually the one to ask Nishikata to walk her home, she inquires about his thoughts on the matter, but he gets too nervous to respond. While buying juice, Nishikata poses a two-choice question to Takagi. When it's her turn, Takagi playfully asks Nishikata loaded questions with romantic implications, to which he responds hesitantly. Nishikata attempts to pet a cat, but Takagi's calls distract him. While she pets another cat, she manages to trick him into admitting his desire to do the same. However, the cat they were talking about runs away. During what seems like a conversation about boys, Yukari eventually realizes that Mina and Sani are actually discussing their favorite dog characteristics. In art class, Takagi and Nishikata are assigned to paint portraits of each other. Nishikata initially tries to draw the demonized image of Takagi, but he feels guilty and changes his approach. Takagi then shows him her portrait of him, and he questions it in amazement. Takagi has her fortune told using tarot cards when Nishikata passes by for room cleanup. She playfully challenges him to a game of rock paper scissors, which he unexpectedly wins. Later, Takagi shares their crush's fortunes and the game results with him. Feeling positive after receiving a favorable horoscope and blood type reading, a confident Nishikata arrives in class. Later that day, when Takagi asks him why he turned down an invitation from his friends, Nishikata confesses that he wanted to walk home with her. Realizing what he just admitted, he blushes and runs away, unaware that Takagi has finally conceded defeat with a blush of her own. The class has been secretly exchanging love letters with each other. After some time, Takagi confirms to Nishikata that she wrote him a letter. When he reads it, he discovers that it's just an invitation to walk home with her. In a flashback to their first day of middle school, Takagi was worried after losing an unknown item, while Nishikata arrived late to class. Upon receiving their seat assignments, an annoyed Nishikata complained to his seatmate about how Takagi was to blame for his lateness. After the entrance ceremony, she revealed that she was the one he had helped, and the lost object was her handkerchief. After injuring his knee, Nishikata remembers that he still has Takagi's handkerchief. The following day, the class changes seats, separating Takagi, Nishikata, Mono, and Nakai. Failing in his attempt to switch seats with his friend Kimura, Nishikata rests his head on his desk in resignation. When he wakes up, he discovers that Takagi has switched seats with Mono, and Nakai has switched with Kimura. Eventually, Nishikata returns the handkerchief, and that night, Takagi unravels it to find a thank you note from Nishikata, which brings a joyful reaction as she squirms happily in her bed.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.